What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoy the Scale News Update, hit the like button and let's jump into this week's topics. First for this week, an item that I actually missed from last week. Vanquish Products released gears for the Axial Rift. These replace the gears in the front and rear axles, and these are available in two different ratios, a 38-13 and a 43-13. The 43-13 is a slightly lower ratio so that you can either use it to reduce torque twist in the axle or to create an underdrive gear ratio. Also with this gear set, it changes the size of bearing used on the inner pinion side. This goes to a larger bearing, which is included with this gear set for more strength. The stock inner pinion bearing is a 10x15x4, which is a fairly weak bearing, and a lot of power gets thrown through the rift. So increased bearing size for better load handling ability, but will work in any stock style housing. So check these gears out. I'll link to them in the description below, as well as with links to the rest of this week's stories. The Traxxas Pro Scale Light Kit for the 2021 Ford Bronco has finally been released. We had seen previews of this before, but full release has finally hit. This comes with the very specific style light setup for the factory style lights that go on that front of that Bronco. Also comes with tail lights and a bunch of other detail lights for the kit. This comes with a complete lighting module that mounts to the body. All of the wiring routing has been very carefully taken care of. A very clean install overall. If you really want to add a nice scale detail to the 2021 Ford Bronco from Traxxas, this is a great kit. Plug and play, super easy installation. Check it out. And of course, Traxxas put out a nice video detailing the kit and showing all of its functionality. Next, for those of you who have bought the straight axle conversion kit for Axial SCX10 or if you bought the early Bronco kit that Axial just released, SSD recently released brass knuckles for those axles. Up to this point, there hadn't been many knuckle options available since those axles didn't really come on a full kit. The aftermarket didn't jump on them as quickly, but starting to see some options for those. If you have a vehicle that's running those axles and you want to add a little weight up front, or you just want to go to a metal option versus the plastic, this is one of the options that you'll now have. Check that out. You can find that likely wherever SSD parts are sold. Cross RC is going to start launching RTR vehicles from the AT4V line. Cross RC, not exactly known for the RTR line. They usually have a huge variety of kits of a specific model with different levels within a type of model. Up to this point, RTR has not been their focus, but now they are going to release this. If you're a Cross RC fan or in a part of the world where they're more popular with good part support, then this might be an option for an easy out-of-the-box scale truck option. Here in the US, part support not great on these models, so they've never really taken off. But as they get into the RTR market, maybe we'll start to see a little bit more popularity out of this brand. Hard to say, but RTRs are usually the more popular way to go, so that oftentimes leads to the growth of a brand and therefore hopefully part support. And speaking of new RTRs from brands that we don't often see as much of in the US, Charisma is releasing an RTR version of the Prairie Wolf. This is on the SCA1E 2.1. So it's got some updates from the original version. It's got new lower gear ratio, a little bit longer than the traditional 12.3 wheelbase at 324 millimeters, which I believe is right around that 12.8 range. It's coming with a 5-slot brushed motor, so it should be nice and smooth, and 100 millimeter shocks. I was surprised to see the cost of this was going to be $539. I'm not sure if that's kind of an MSRP or if that's going to be an actual street price. It does seem a little bit high from what I've experienced with Charisma trucks in the past. So I'll have to wait until I see those actually on websites in the US for sale before I necessarily believe that that's going to be the price that we see here stateside. If it is, I don't know how well these are going to do. For $539, there's a number of pretty good RTR options that I think would probably tip the scales on this truck. But if you really love that Prairie Wolf body, it's done pretty well. I get it. Maybe that pushes you over the edge. Maybe you have all of the other trucks already. Then there you go, another option. And it's a van, an RTR van. I don't know if have we seen any RTR scale vans yet? I don't think so. I think we've only seen some aftermarket bodies. Maybe I'm wrong. Hobbytech teased a new vehicle that they've got coming out at a convention over in Europe last weekend. And this is a Peugeot 504 truck. Now, at this point, it does appear to be pre-production, not 100% finished, but we don't often see a lot from Hobbytech. The CRX Survival was the previous truck that we had seen from them in this market, and this basically seems to be a similar version to that with a new body option. The Peugeot body does have some molded details like a grille and some somewhat odd looking fender flares. Not sure if those are final or not. They don't look totally fitting. Unless that's how that actual truck is fitted, not sure. It kind of looks like a drift car wide body kit got glued to the side of it. From the information that I got from one of the attendees at the show, the kit is going to come in a way that you're able to build this in two different configurations. One that is said to be more of a stock style, which I'm guessing is without the fender flares, maybe the ride height is lower, and the other one was called a 4x4 Dengel version, which that's probably the fender flares, maybe the raised ride height. Not sure what other option. Maybe there's different bumpers or something in the kit as well. Either way, at this point, again, it's a little bit out there. Hobbytech, another one that we don't often see here in the US. I've seen it predominantly in Europe and Australia, but not so much here. I'd be interested to know if any of you have owned a Hobbytech CRX. I have never seen one in person, only just a handful of photos online. So if you have, put in the comments below. This week, Redcat announced another option for the 64 line, that hop-in lowrider, in a new purple color. Same car, different color, that's it, but still kind of cornering the market on the lowrider thing. No one else has come after them, and I'm seeing more and more of these things out there. It definitely seemed like a novelty at first, but they continue to keep moving them. Either they're having great success moving these things, or they're trying to paint them different colors to find people to buy them. I'm guessing that they're selling fairly well though, with how many I keep seeing around. So if purple's just your jam, hit the order button. Over this last week, it appears that Castle Creations did a price increase on a number of their products. I haven't been able to see an official announcement or any sort of price sheet with kind of befores and afters. I tried to do a little bit of searching to try and find some of the previous prices and some of the current prices. It's been very hard to determine because it appears that the prices were kind of all around depending on where you were shopping. But one example that I did find is it looked like the Castle Mamba X, the commonly used 10th scale aluminum case up to 6S version. That thing used to be able to be around $150, $159, somewhere in that range. Now, from what I'm seeing, that ESC is being listed at $193, so a $34 increase. Pretty significant price jump from where it was. Not sure if that is a similar price jump across many models, like the Copperhead came out not too long ago. I'm not sure if it saw the same percentage increase compared to others or not. But if you're a Castle fan or you've been shopping for Castle in the past, take a note of that. Check out what the new pricing is on there. Still, of course, great products. And we've been talking about price increases and changes that have been happening. And just another one to note, and don't be too surprised when you go shop. And in this week of kind of oddball RTR announcements, Gmaid Buffalo TS version is going to be done in an RTR as well. We saw these released not too long ago, but the Buffalo TS was never done in the RTR. This is their most recent release, their most reasonable release even to date. Kind of hits the market with a fairly apples to apples option. The pricing wasn't bad on these kits either, but again, it just seems to come down to the customer's feel of after purchase experience. Are they going to have aftermarket parts? Are they going to be able to have just replacement parts in general? Are they happy with the build of the trucks? Gmaid has been doing better over the years, but they still haven't really tipped the scales to their favor yet here in the US. K5 style, the most recent release, was a pretty decent one. Of course, there are some other options for that style right now, so it's not the most unique thing. This is currently listed as a pre-order, launching September 14th and ending on October 14th. They're supposed to be shipping just shortly after that. So if you want to get in on the pre-order side, you can do that now. Or if you want to wait till they're in stock and buy from someone stateside, you may have to wait a little bit longer with shipping times currently. And next, we've got your weekly HPI news update. The Savage X is coming out again, the 4.6 and the Flux, so a nitro version and the electric version. They teased it, they kind of shadowed it, wondering if they were going to do anything to it. It doesn't necessarily appear so. Some cosmetic stuff has been done, wheels and tires, a body, different, but no major changes have actually been done. It's still basically the same monster truck underneath, the 15-plus-year-old monster truck or something like that at this point, still being re-released basically as it was. Not giving me the most hope for HPI. Maybe they're just getting this stuff rolling. I don't know. Still nothing actually new coming out of them is an interesting call. This is a pretty old truck. I'm sure it's still fun though. The story of HPI is one that I just continue to be fascinated with and want to see if they're going to make an actual move out of the path that they're on, or if we're just going to kind of see this previous shadow of a company continue to dribble out old parts that we just maybe have some nostalgia for. Make sure you go check out the finale of the SCX24 budget build-off. It will air Wednesday. It's been an awesome series. It's coming to a close after 8 weeks. Had a lot of fun with it. Really looking forward to this finale. Really looking forward to the finale of this one though. It's been just an awesome time, and last episode should be a good one. So make sure you go check that out. I'll put a link to the playlist of the previous 7 weeks of episodes in the description below, where you can check out my episodes and Matt's. So go check those out, get caught up, watch the finale on Wednesday. And also, if you didn't catch it, last week we released the final video of the RCPCS, where Matt and I both took those Tamiya semis and the trailers, where we stuffed gaming computers inside of them and we benchmarked them and then did some driving challenges. Both of us put those up there. You can go check out the final scores. We'll be talking about that this Wednesday on Live Takeover. I'm glad those are wrapped up though, because I definitely needed the shelf space. But that does it for this week's news topics. For this week's question though, coming up this weekend is Proline by the Fire, and big events like that are always a good time. If you've made it to a big event, or if you just go to some local events, or maybe you hope to, what is your main goal once you go to an event? Is it to actually just drive on some new terrain or some terrain that you enjoy? Or is it to hang out with friends? Is it to learn some new techniques, either in building or driving styles? What do you want most out of attending events, whether you've never been before or you go all the time? Let me know what you think in the comments below. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching the Scale News Update. Make sure and hit the like button if you enjoy these videos, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.